This video is brought to you by Mubi, an online cinema streaming hand-picked exceptional films from around the globe. Get 1 month free at mubi.com/likestoriesofold. There is a character in the film Sunshine that has always particularly resonated with me. Taking place on a spaceship on its way to the sun, one of its crew members, his name is Searle, finds himself increasingly drawn to the natural beauty that lies before him. He reminds me of my own experience of watching a sunset, which, despite having seen more than I can count, to me still is a strangely moving phenomenon. In cinema, this brief window between day and night is generally referred to as the golden hour or magic hour. Though meant to indicate the more ideal lighting conditions for photography, I think that most will agree that there is a beauty to it that goes beyond these technicalities. It's like this moment where everything calms down for a bit, as if it's asking you to just stop, take a breath, and stare at the sky as the colors change and the sun slowly disappears behind the horizon. And it never sets in the exact same way too. When the sky is clear, you can see it take on different colors fading into each other. And sometimes when it's cloudy, you have this moment where the sun dips just underneath them and paints them with light. For me, these endless possibilities only urge me even more to go out every day, or at least to glance out the window, worried I might be missing out on some particularly beautiful combination of sunset conditions.
Still there. Still there. Gone.
And it's not just with sunsets, but with all those moments that draw you into the present, that suddenly make everything feel brighter. Moments of joy, beauty, moments of love, of connection.
È tutto sedimentato sotto il chiacchiericcio e il rumore. Gli sparuti incostanti sprazzi di bellezza.
In Beauty, the Invisible Embrace, John O'Donohue describes these moments as, quote, playful like dancing sunlight. It cannot be predicted, and in the most unlikely scene or situation can suddenly emerge. This spontaneity and playfulness often subverts our self-importance and throws our plans and intentions into disarray. Without intending it, we find ourselves coming alive with a sense of celebration and delight. The pedestrian sequence of a working day breaks. A new door opens and the heart recognizes the silent majesty of the ordinary. The things we never notice, like health, friends, and love, emerge from their subdued presence and stand out in their true radiance as gifts we could never have earned or achieved. Unquote. But I always feel there's a sense of melancholy to it as well. This, in part, is because we know this kind of beauty is inherently fleeting, just as a sunset promises the inevitable nightfall. So too do all those other moments that grasp our awareness come with the knowledge of their briefness. You almost instinctively feel them slipping away as soon as they appear. This might also be why we have the at times reflexive urge to capture them, to make them last a little longer. Though of course, we are never quite successful in capturing the real thing. And this reveals the real frustration. That beauty is something that we cannot truly grasp in its absoluteness, even if it were frozen in time. On some fundamental level, it always keeps us at a distance, not unlike the way Searle can only see the sun at a fraction of its true brightness.
At this distance of 36 million miles, you are observing the sun at 2% of full brightness.
2%?
It's one of those things where, no matter how much I am present in the moment, I still feel somewhat detached. In fact, it might be precisely because I want to experience these moments of beauty more intensely, that I also become aware that, deep down, there's a barrier that prevents me from truly connecting with them. prevents me from fully taking them in, that always renders me an observer instead of a real participant.
Sometimes I feel so far away from everything.
It seems like such a distinctively human thing too, to observe or experience something and feel like there must be something more, some deeper essence hiding behind it.
I don't know what space exploration will uncover, but I don't think it'll be exploration just for the sake of exploration. I think it'll be more the fact that it allows us to see things that maybe we should have seen a long time ago, but just haven't been able to until now.
In the opening lines of one of his poems, William Blake perhaps put it best as he wrote, "To see a world in a grain of sand, and a heaven in a wild flower. Hold infinity in the palm of your hand, and eternity in an hour." Besides capturing how the human mind relates to the outside world, what these lines also exemplify is the function of much of our art in general. That being to build a bridge between ourselves and this elusive greater beauty, to make it tangible, to connect closer to it. In the 18th century, the German philosopher Alexander Baumgarten defined beauty as the absolute being perceived by the senses, which reflects the way the experience of beauty has generally been conceptualized throughout the classical and medieval times. It was seen as evidence of God, or in more philosophical terms, as evidence of absolute beauty as a metaphysical property.
That's where God lives.
In both cases, it suggested that somewhere out there exists a greater objective source of beauty, one that we at best can occasionally catch a glimpse of, and one that artists can at best partially reflect or allude to.
I paint the tombs of the prophets. I help people look up from those pews and dream.
The 18th century, however, also marked a turning point as philosophers, skeptical of a pre-existing yet unattainable source of absolute objective beauty, sought to reground the concept back into the human experience. As such, absolute beauty was no longer seen as an external reality, but rather as an experiential phenomenon, one that is just as much born from our own subjectivity, and that relies not only on the outside things that we perceive as beautiful, but also specifically on our relation to it.
None of us sees the world around us the same way. We sit, you and I, in front of the same landscape. We don't see the same mountains, the same trees.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The trees that I paint are mine.
Just look at the work of painter Vincent van Gogh, and the way he transformed ordinary landscapes, peoples and places into worlds of colors playfully moving around the canvas. What he painted can hardly be described as a reflection of objective beauty, and it shouldn't be, for what he conveyed was perhaps even more beautiful, and might just be the reason he is now considered one of the greatest painters who ever lived. Because what he showed was a reflection of one man's distinctive relation to the outside world, one man's distinctive vision of its beauty.
Every time I step outside, I feel nature is shouting at me. Come on, come and get me. Come on, capture my mystery.
He demonstrated how the longing for and pursuit of absolute beauty is not just about finding it out there, as it were, and capturing it as a passive observer. It is also about looking inside, about actively engaging with something within ourselves.
There's something inside me. I don't know what it is. What I see, nobody else sees.
The work of Van Gogh exemplifies the complex and dynamic phenomenon that is the experience of absolute beauty. An experience that is at once about ourselves, about the things we see as beautiful, and about what is awakened in their collision.
Jack talked about how music is essentially 12 notes between any octave. 12 notes and the octave repeats. It's the same story, told over and over. All any artist can offer the world is how they see those 12 notes.
It is an experience that consists of observing, digesting, and connecting, but also one that is followed by a yearning for reaction, for expression. Beauty demands to be acted upon, like the way music compels our bodies into movement, or how an overwhelming movie scene pushes us back into our seat. It demands us to respond, to answer. And this, among other things, is what drives us to create, to use art as a means to pursue absolute beauty.
Yes, I consume this natural setting. I devour it completely and whole. And then when I'm through, the picture appears before me complete. But it's so difficult to hold it inside.
Hang on. What are y'all laughing at? So Connie got a little lost in it. That's a good thing.
When successful, the sensory experience of absolute beauty can be described as being in a certain flow state, which Disney's recent film Soul illustrates really well by showing how people quite literally enter a higher spiritual realm when they are immersed in their passion.
You know how when you humans are really into something and it feels like you're in another place? Feels like you're in the zone, right? Well, this is the zone. It's the space between the physical and spiritual.
Sorry, I zoned out a little back there.
It must be noted that flow state is a wider concept more closely related to the experience of hyperfocus. But still, it does capture that feeling of being so engaged with beauty, of being so present within it, that you momentarily disconnect from reality, that you step outside of your own self.
The point about darkness is, you float in it. Darkness is an absence of something. It's a vacuum. But total light envelops you.
When I paint, I stop thinking.
It becomes you.
I stop thinking, and I feel that I'm a part of everything outside and inside of me.
But here too there remains a limitation, as you can never transcend yourself completely. As much as you would want to in the moment, you can never fully dissolve into absolute beauty. The brightness is just too bright. As in Soul, we can visit the spiritual realm, but only for so long. We are still bound to our earthly being, and have to return there eventually.
You know, lost souls are not that different from those in the zone.
What?
The zone is enjoyable, but when that joy becomes an obsession, one becomes disconnected from life.
This fundamental inability for true self-transcendence also reveals the darkest side of our longing for absolute beauty. One that can be especially dangerous and harmful when we specifically pursue it as an escape. When we want to escape from our thoughts, our pain, our sorrows, our fears. And when subsequently we keep pushing the boundaries, keep turning up the brightness, until it burns us.
I need to go out and work to forget myself. I want to be out of control. I need to be in a feverish state.
It turns self-transcendence into self-annihilation and transforms absolute beauty from something to connect with into something to be destroyed by. And while this can feel satisfying and cathartic every once in a while, like those days where you just want to turn up the volume of your favorite music to 11, drown out everything else, and just be gone for a bit. In the long term, it also puts you at risk of becoming isolated, of becoming disconnected from the world, from others, and from yourself. This is an issue because, as discussed earlier, absolute beauty is in part about you. And so when you negate that part of the equation, you will also end up diminishing the experience as a whole. You will end up chasing a shadow, a substitute, all the while knowing that real beauty is increasingly further away, until you reach a point where you believe you will not experience it ever again.
Sometimes I think I've felt everything I'm ever gonna feel. And from here on out, I'm not gonna feel anything new. Just lesser versions of what I've already felt.
It leaves you only with the longing, a longing that for some reason won't go away, a longing so deep, so persistent, that you might even wish you were never given it in the first place.
All I ever wanted was to sing to God. He gave me that longing, and then made me mute. If he didn't want me to praise him with music, why implant the desire, like a lust in my body, and then deny me the talent?
What all this tells us, or at least what it tells me, is that absolute beauty is about more than a pleasing sensory experience. It is about nurturing the relation between ourselves and the world, between ourselves and others, and in doing so, overcoming a fundamental sense of loneliness.
It's very important to understand that we're looking for a solution to this, not this.
I can feel the fear that you carry around, and I wish there was something I could do to help you let go of it, because if you could, I don't think you'd feel so alone anymore.
The great tragedy of Vincent van Gogh is that no one around him saw beauty in the way that he did.
Each of these pictures now is worth tens of millions of pounds, yet in his lifetime he was a commercial disaster. Sold only one painting, and that to the sister of a friend.
Don't you see that this painting is, how can I say, unpleasant? It's ugly.
He had a vision of the world and of himself that at the time was discarded by everyone else.
Maybe he chose the wrong time.
What do you mean the wrong time?
Maybe God made me a painter for people who aren't born yet.
I think this is also why the Doctor Who episode that features Van Gogh made such an impact. It starts relatively simplistic as the time-traveling doctor goes back to Van Gogh's time to battle an invisible alien. But towards the end, in an act of compassion, both to Van Gogh and to us who know his story, the Doctor takes the frustrated painter back to the present where he gets to witness the impact his work has made, and finally receives the recognition that has been denied him. It is a moment that beautifully captures the power and importance of absolute beauty as an experience of validation, of affirmation, of having what's inside us in some way acknowledged and given back to us.
I can see it. This one moment when you know you're not a sad story. You are alive.
Of all the moments of beauty, these to me are the most beautiful of all. It's when the words of a poet or an author reflect what is within your own heart, thereby articulating parts of yourself that you couldn't put into words on your own. It's when a piece of music or a film perfectly tunes into your inner feelings, makes them come alive with vibrant ecstasy. It's when the love you have for your partner matches the love your partner has for you so completely that you feel like you could melt into each other. It's in all those moments where you feel like you are at once losing yourself and finding yourself. Moments of true synchronicity, of absolute oneness.
I just want to stay right here.
Life is being in bed with you.
When I'm with you,
Everything else is just waiting.
I forget everything else.
I am here, and I am looking at her.
2, no more.
And she is so beautiful.
1.
If I never meet you in this life, let me feel the lack. A glance from your eyes, and my life will be yours.
Whatever comes, I'm with you. Always.
Absolute beauty is about being recognized, about feeling heard, seen, and about how this in turn allows you to reconnect to yourself, to see your own beauty through the eyes of others, through the eyes of the world. As such, it is an act of self-love too.
We're only here briefly. And while I'm here, I want to allow myself joy.
To experience absolute beauty is to feel that you matter, that you belong in this universe, that you are a part of it and that it is a part of you. It is the point where self-transcendence becomes synonymous to self-actualization, where the beauty around you becomes the same beauty you see in yourself. It is to simultaneously embrace and be embraced, touch and be touched, to be at once enveloped by light and shining. For me, the best kind of films are those that are in search of absolute beauty, in whatever shape or form. And so naturally, my favorite streaming service is the one that specifically seeks out these kinds of films. And that, of course, is Mubi. Mubi is a curated streaming service showing hand-picked exceptional films from around the globe. Every day they present a new film, whether it's a timeless classic, a cult favorite, or an acclaimed masterpiece. There's no better way to explore the riches of cinema. They feature hundreds of carefully selected films, including Loving Vincent, the one-of-a-kind portrayal of Van Gogh's vision made with hundreds of actual oil paintings, which is available to rent in the UK and is streaming in multiple countries including the Netherlands and Canada. You can try Mubi for free for 30 days by going to mubi.com/likestoriesofold. So be sure to claim your extended free trial and begin your month of great cinema today.